The Madurai Nayaks were rulers from around 1529 until 1736, of a region comprising most of modern-day Tamil Nadu, India, with Madurai as the capital. The Nayak reign was an era noted for its achievement in arts, cultural and administrative reforms, revitalization of temples previously ransacked by the Delhi Sultans, and inauguration of a unique architectural style. The dynasty consisted of 13 rulers, of whom 9 were kings, 2 were queens, and 2 were joint kings. The most notable of these were the king, Tirumalai Nayak, and the queen, Rani Mangammal. Foreign trade was conducted mainly with the Dutch and the Portuguese, as the British and the French had not yet made inroads in the region. Madurai Nayaks belonged to the Balya social group. Sultan dynasty at Madurai. Early in the 14th century, a dispute arose over the succession to the Pandya throne. One claimant appealed for help to Emperor Alauddin of Delhi, who dispatched his general, Malik Kafur, in 1310. Malik Kafur marched south, ransacking kingdoms on the way and causing enormous changes to the political configuration of central and southern India. He marched into Madurai, sacking the town, paralyzing trade, suppressing public worship, and making civilian life miserable. The great Meenakshi temple with its 14 towers was pulled down, destroying the nearby streets and buildings, and leaving only the 2 shrines of Sundesvara and Meenakshi intact. The events are controversial, as another account describes them. The Deccan was soon to feel the force of Islam, which was already the master of northern India. In the reign of the able Sultan of Delhi, Alauddin Khalji, a series of brilliant raids, led by the eunuch general Malik Kafur, a converted Hindu, crushed the Deccan kingdoms, and for a time a sultanate was set up, even in Madurai, in the extreme south. Malik Kafur returned to Delhi following these events. The Pandyas protested the invasion, which continued for a few years in spasmodic fashion. The weakness of the Pandya regime caused the neighboring Chera ruler to invade and defeat the Pandya ruler, and he crowned himself in 1313. This was followed by a Chera occupation. However, the Chera occupation was transitory. A Sultan dynasty was soon re-established at Madurai, ruling Madurai, Trichinopoly and even South Arcot for the next 48 years, first as feudatories of the Delhi Sultanate and later as independent monarchies. In 1333, during the rule of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Jalaluddin Hasan Khan declared independence from the Delhi Sultanate and ruled the area until he was killed by one of his officers in 1339. Alauddin Shah took power in 1339, but soon met with the same fate. Qutbuddin Firoz took over in 1340 and was killed in about 40 days. Ghiyazuddin Muhammad Damgan ascended the throne in 1340 and later married a daughter of Hasan Shah. Ibn Battuta visited Madurai during his reign and he testifies to his atrocious behavior. He was defeated initially by the Hoysala Veera Ballala, but later captured and killed Ballala. He died in 1344. Nasiruddin Mahmud Damgand, Adil Shah, Fakhruddin Mubarak and Alauddin Sikandar followed him in succession. When Sikandar was defeated by Bukhara in 1377, the region became part of the Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara Domination, 1365. Sultan rule of the region was overthrown in 1377 by the new Hindu kingdom of Vijayanagara, which had been founded at Hampi. For the next 2 centuries, this empire withstood repeated Sultan invasions from the north. Kampana Sudaya, a Vijayanagara prince and an agent of Bukhara who also served as a general in the Vijayanagara army, marched into Madurai in 1372. He expelled the Sultan out of Madurai and started a dynasty, subordinate to the court of Vijayanagara, that lasted until 1404. The immediate effect of this victory was the reopening of the Shiva and Vishnu temples. The rule was continued by Vijayanagara-appointed governors who had Nayaka as a title. King Krishnadevara, the greatest ruler of the Vijayanagara dynasty, exercised close control over this part of his empire. After ruling for some time, Kampana Sudaya left his son Imbana Sudaya in charge of Madurai, who was succeeded by his brother-in-law Purkasa Sudaya. Around 1404, Purkasa Sudaya was succeeded by a man named Madurai Nayak, thus bringing the dynastic rule of Kampana Sudaya to an end. Madurai Nayak jointly ruled Madurai with another Nayak named Maithanan until 1451. Between 1451 to 1499, the Madurai regions were ruled by 4 persons brought by Madurai Nayak, whom he declared to be of true Pandya stock. The 4 persons were Sendara Tulmaha Vilavanathireya, Kalaya Somana Anjatha Perumal and Maturasa Tirumalai Mahavilavanathireya. A commentator, James Nelson, mentions that all the 4 persons belonged to the same family, and were illegitimate sons of a petty Pandyan chieftain. However, all 4 of them enjoyed kingly powers for 48 years from 1451 to around 1499, and are said to have built 4 gopurams of the Madurai temple, which was destroyed by the Mohammedans. After the ouster by the sultans, the Vilayanathas are said to have retired. The existing 4 gopurams were built by the following. East Gopuram was built by Pandya King Maravarman Sundara Pandyan in 1216. This is the oldest of all gopurams. West Gopuram was built by Parakirama Pandyan between 1315 to 1347. This is the second Gopuram built without steps to bring goods inside. South Gopuram was built by Sevandi Morthi Chatiyar of Tirumalai in 1559. North Gopuram was built by Krishnavirapa Nayaka between 1564 to 1572, and left without completion, hence it is still called Motai Gopuram, meaning flat tower. The Nayak dynasty. Prior to the formation of the Nayak dynasty, Madurai and its surrounding areas were ruled by Banner chieftains. When Kulatunga Chola III conquered Madurai in the 13th century, he installed a Banner as the ruler. The Banners were feudal lords of both the Kulas and the Pandyas. Therefore, when Sendara Pandya was helped by a Banner chieftain in his campaign against Kulatunga Chola III in about 1216 to 1217, he too gave a part of the Chola country to a Banner as a reward. Subsequently, the Banners ruling as the Nayaka underlords of the Vijayanagara Empire left inscriptions that provide us their names. An inscription of 1477 refers to a Thirumala Unjkolai Mapalavanyan as the ruler of Madurai, and an epigraph dated 1483 in Padakatai refers to one Banner chieftain named Virapatapa Sundaratludayan Mahalbalivanadraya ruling in Kanjivaram in 1469. The Nayakas appointed to rule Madurai under the Vijayanagara Empire were Narata Nayak, Tena Nayak, Narasa Pulai, Timapa Nayak, Katayama Kamaya Nayak, Chinapa Nayaka, Ayukarai Velyapa Nayak, Visvanatha Nayak Ayyyar.